bitrate like stay.
By the way, did we kick everyone out that was in?
The stream, it should load up for them again.
Oh, good.
So should be all good. And yeah, it's as clear as it was. So.
Okay.
Man, I kind of envy you, to be honest.
Why?
Because it works so darn well. Like with text, it has to be like crystal clear. I can't really pull that off. Oh well. I do have a couple of friends with like stupid fast upload speed though.
I'd like to have that. Just it's kind of funny because for that you can't be on ADSL. You need to have cable.
Yeah.
And I'm smack in the center of the capital here, and I still cannot have good cable connection. You know, every street around me has it, except mine. They haven't put the infrastructure here for that. They need to do some shit that they always kind of try to justify why haven't they done that yet. It's like, oh yeah, you can try and make it happen by like going to every house in the street and just like getting signatures about people who want from people who want it, and then we'll maybe do it. And it's like, seriously, you know, I have other things to do than your job. Just like it's the city. This is not, you know.
Yeah, that's kind of strange, but like, because like every city that's not like fucking infinitesimal around there has fiber.
Yeah, I'm like 5 minutes walking distance from the main central square of the city. Okay, so they don't have any excuses, and I'm not gonna go around collecting signatures. I'm not running for office. Jesus Christ, I just want a proper connection.
Man, that reminds me of a friend of mine, because he lives like, there's a lot of people living there, but it's a far away from like any city. Well, not that far, but they really should have fiber there. So the fiber optic like companies and shit, they went around and like tried to poll the people there, like, do you want faster internet? Like the internet they have is like so slow. It's like 3 and 4 megabits per second, right?
Yeah.
And I think the house of my friend was the only one that wanted like faster internet connection. Everyone else was like old people that didn't really want that shit. Like if they could just like get the neighborhood like to want fiber, they would have it now.
Yeah, but
that didn't really work out.
Some of the occupants there, they're still waiting for the whole fad of electricity to go away, so they can go back to their petroleum lamps. Yeah. It's a fad. Tomorrow, no one's gonna know what it was.
Oh.
We did just fine without electricity in my day.
Fuck that.
By the way, should we get the... well, actually, shall we ask the other guys if they want to come on this Skype channel?
Sure, we can do that.
They probably can hear us, but I'm just gonna type it in. Maybe someone is actually gonna start asking questions about what I'm doing, so
yeah, one can hope.
Have a topic other than. And yeah, Vu, by the way, on spoilers, that show is like ancient, so I'm not. I don't even bother. Like, if the show's been off the air for years, I'm not gonna worry about spoilers. Anyone who hasn't seen it, their own fault.
Yeah, blame yourself.
Yeah, you can't expect not to be spoiled the years after the show's been cancelled.
Well, also, by the way, on Twitch right now, this is kind of a awkward time to stream because the Europeans are kind of getting, home from work and shit. Like making dinner. The Americans are just about to wake up.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. You usually catch this on if you're lucky, though. Oh, actually, what I can do is go on Reddit and see if there's any boards there. Oh man, that I really need to watch the new season of Game of Thrones as well.
Yeah, I have a complicated relationship with Game of Thrones, which is now in the its complicated phase. We don't
Oh,
really
really?
talk. Yeah, well, it's not that complicated. Basically, what happened is I read the first five books, and the last two just put me off the entire franchise.
Oh, I see.
They're boring, especially the
Oh,
fourth one. The fourth one is terrible. Feast for Crows, I think it's called. It's basically, let's take every character and situation that is less interesting about this entire franchise and make the book exclusive about them.
oh yeah.
It was terrible. Oh, you know, their mileage may
Yeah.
vary, but I really, it's just I found myself after the last book, I didn't even care anymore. The whole
So is it like is it trying to drag it out too far or?
it just like focuses on this little. You kind of get used to with George Martin. You get used to these little sidetracks that the characters have. Like a character has motivation and something they're trying to accomplish, and then they always get sidetracked into something that's takes forever and is ultimately pointless, and will just like take them in a direction that's
Right.
well
Yeah.
sometimes interesting and unexpected, but oftentimes it's just yeah the character just like either ends up dead or just in so much shit that they can't really do anything to influence
Yeah.
the outcome of anything important anymore. So it just the whole thing becomes pointless, and I don't know. Just I really enjoyed the first three books, and then after that, and I enjoyed the show initially, and then it's just like completely lost interest in the franchise.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always wanted to read the books, but I never can like bring myself to actually do it.
Well, the first three are good. I will, however, say that well, Tyrion is the best character in that whole franchise for me. He's like funny,
Mm.
and I just like that sort of humor.
Yep.
And he's good in the books, but you know what? I think that what's his name? The actor, Peter Dinklage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did such a brilliant job with the character on the show that like everything the book does right with the character, you know, it's just slightly better just because of his performance on the show. So I actually prefer the show Tyrion to the book Tyrion. That's not to say that book Tyrion's bad. It's just you know he's even better in the show just because of Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah, he is.
And he's kind of easy to recognize too. Can't really forget them. Like that's my main problem with like movies and TV series in general because I never can be bothered to like remember the actors' names. It
Well,
just kind of sucks if you're like discussing something and you can't really follow along because you don't really know any names.
yeah, I can understand that. And the problem is for me, like the whole movie star generating machine that is Hollywood. It just works a little too fast for my taste. So like just as I start to like getting used to like for me Brad Pitt is still new. you know, I'm slow in accepting all of this stuff. And then like you come across I don't know an article or a conversation about these like actors which I probably seen because they're in some new stuff, but I still haven't like remembered their names, so I have no idea who these people are. You
That's
know,
great.
I still have to like get used to the fact that people like Harrison Ford are the old actors
Yeah.
now, and like Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio are for me like new, but they're not. They're old too.
Yeah. They were new for a while and now they're
Yeah,
not.
and now I have to like come up like I have to remember names of these kids that are like half my age and like yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
That's
have to
my dad
remember
forever.
anything. I'm old. Get off my lawn.
Get out my lawn.
Respect my authority.
And then it'll start flying drones and then you just shoot them down
Yeah.
with a shotgun.
Ah, apologies about the coughing again.
should be fine.
Yeah. I think I should
Or
probably
the
just start smoking. Completely destroy my throat.
and you'll never stop coughing.
No, I quit smoking like 12 years ago or something like that. It's the best decision I ever
Oh, so
made.
you were actually a smoker.
I was. I was, but I stopped at uni. Like the beginning of uni, some like second year, something like that. Beginning of second year.
Right.
It's kind of funny. I quit at half a pack, so I didn't like try to reduce it or anything like that. Just like at one point I decided I was done with it, and then I just like threw the rest of the pack in the garbage and never lit it again.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Loads of people have problems quitting.
yeah, because they try to like reduce it, and the moment you start reducing, you're you're not quitting. You're reducing. That means that you still want to smoke. So
Yeah.
that's the problem. You're never gonna quit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, different people, different ways of
Oh,
doing things, but to me,
obviously.
that just yeah, I need to go either cold turkey or not at all. I'm just that kind of guy. I don't like half measures.
Yeah. Yeah. I found recently, like, I've been understanding, like, for a year now that I've been using way too much time on Facebook. But it's like in my muscle memory, right? So I open a new tab on Chrome. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh, there's Facebook. So
I think
just like,
muscle memory is like half of the reason of their success.
yeah,
Everyone's just kind of used
probably.
to doing that. The thing I don't like about that stuff, and a part of the reason, well, mostly I'm not on those social networks because I'm lazy and I don't feel like updating stuff, and also
Mm.
because I know myself, and it's like you start thinking about situations in life and everything that happens to you in terms of is this something that could like be good on Facebook? Should I like write about this on Facebook? Should I take a shot of this and put this on Facebook? You start thinking about stuff that happens to you in through that filter. And I hate that filter. I don't like that
Exactly.
filter, because I can't stop and enjoy the moment. I'm always like it's analogous to having a camera and then just like never stopping to enjoy the beautiful sights around you, but just like completely
Mhm.
focusing on
Exactly.
getting the best possible shot all the time, and never really just like stop and take it in yourself while you're
Yep.
there. And yeah, but most of it is laziness. I just can't be bothered to constantly update my
Yeah.
profile and shit like that. Yeah,
Yeah. Like a couple of weeks ago, something just clicked for me, and I just stopped using it at all. Kind of
yeah.
surprised
I
myself.
have a lot of people that I know tell me that they do the same thing. So I just figure like, I know myself. If I started suddenly using Facebook now, I would probably be like spend crazy amount of time on it for the first few months, then I get burned out of it and never run it again. That's me. So I figure I may as well just skip that few months stage and just not go
And
into it
just
at
never
all.
start. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Smart.
end up not using it anyway.
And like, a thing I don't like with like, I guess it's kind of Facebook, but it's that like mentality that you always have to be reachable.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's a
yeah,
whole new topic.
yeah, I guess it is.
But no, yeah, I know it's annoying.
Can just be, yeah,
No, I don't. But, but the worst things about the whole Facebook phenomenon. Well, there are two things that really annoy me about it. One of them is the whole concept of likes. I
yeah,
don't like likes. Pardon the pun, but there are actually like companies in India and stuff that sell likes. So you can buy 20,000 likes from them for your Facebook page if you're like advertising something or something. And that's basically false advertising. You can call it whatever you want, but that's faking it.
yeah,
So there's just like a level of absurdity to it that I don't like, you know. And
yeah.
Another thing that I dislike. Hang on, this is. What is this? I just need to think something through. Yeah, the other thing that I dislike, I just realized what I was doing wrong, is the whole phenomenon of reading other people's Facebook comments on the news. That's just like the bottom of the barrel for journalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's ask a bunch of random people who are not um, experts on the
Maybe.
subject at hand,
Yeah.
about their expert opinion. It's basically like it's the same thing as if there was like a medical decision to be made about whether the patient in question needed brain surgery, and then we'll just ask a few random people on the street what they think. It's irrelevant what they think. It's completely
Yeah.
relevant, and Facebook makes everyone feel like they're their own talk show host. It's just like a giant ego stroking mechanism. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't like it. It's not at all like streaming here on Twitch where you really are the rock star and everyone's just dying to hear what you're saying. By the way, do we even have anyone watching us?
I got no clue actually. I think we got Steven. He's
Yeah,
like
and
a
anyone who's not on the team.
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Oh well, I guess it'll be fine. You could always like so when you stop the stream and started a new one, that's like a new video in
Mhm.
Twitch's system. So we can just upload this one. We've been fairly clean so far. Oh,
I guess that came through clean. Okay, so I need to add the struts here. Oh my god, it's almost
oh, I
7.
just remembered something. I can actually host this stream on my channel and hopefully get some more viewers.
Yeah, do it. Do whatever you feel can help.
I got like 70 followers or something, which is kind of surprising. I had this one stream where I got like 150 viewers. I got no clue how, but they were there.
They should make a like a Twitter clone where followers are called stalkers.
Oh god!
I have 70 stalkers. Good for you, man.
Yay! That would be perfect. I'm kind of creepy, but
Yeah, of course.
that's the purpose of it.
The thing is, once you sign in, you can't sign out, and it kind of randomly gives your personal information to other people, so they can follow you, like not just on the internet, but in person as well.
Yep,
That'd be awesome.
certainly. Oh, there's the channel hosted on my channel, so should be fine.
Okay. Do I need to do anything or?
Nope.
Okay.
Twitch is fairly robust when it comes to this kind of stuff.
That's always good.
Yeah. Like, I don't think my followers will get like a notification that I'm hosting, but if they like go to Twitch, they will see a stream there. So
Okay. Sounds good.
yeah.
Okay, so that's done. I also need to do the same for the engine here. And a lot of these things are not very visible, like you don't see much of a difference with these on or off. But once I add them to the shine and normal maps, that's when it's gonna really pop. So they do need to be there. I know it doesn't look very different, but it is different, believe me. So yeah, definitely get Arrested Development. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm downloading it now, actually. So if I'm lucky, I'll have a few episodes when I go to bed.
Yeah, it's really good. All characters are good, but my recent favorite is one called Tobias. I'm not gonna go into spoilers, so Flu doesn't cry. But yeah,
That's the most important thing.
yes,
That it doesn't cry.
without really spoiling anything, that he's the world's first analyst therapist. And
Oh
I'm
wow.
gonna let you get to that joke inside the show on your own. But
Yes, I will.
remind me of it when you do, because you're gonna laugh so hard
I
when
will.
you get to that. Professional, twice over, world's first analyst therapist.
I will laugh when I understand it.
Yeah, it involves the world's greatest business card. And I'm gonna stop there.
Okay, fair enough. Uh, oh, okay. So it seems like I have some port forwarding issues. Need to resolve them. That's always fine.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm gonna need a new layer here. That's not good. Oh, I can kill this layer. Good. Truth be told, I thought I'd be done with this ship by now. It's the
Well,
first
that didn't happen.
it's the first one that uses the higher resolution maps. Because we use for a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
Rigel, we have we have two basically resolution standards for the ship, and this one uses higher resolution because cruisers and upwards use the higher resolution standard. And lately, I've done a lot of lower res stuff, and now I'm back on this cruiser, and I just forgot just how much more work that is.
So like in terms of the, what do you mean with more work? Is it like just high
Just like,
resolution?
yeah, it's a bigger texture, and
Yeah.
the ship itself is bigger and has more
Oh yeah.
surfaces with more details. So you can't just, you can't have a frigate and then you do a cruiser which is like 5 times the size and just have the same amount of detail because that's gonna look barren.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think I get distracted while I'm on stream. I'm not used to it, so I may actually be slower here than usual.
Yeah. I have that same issue.
I kind of like to comfortably work in privacy with, like, I don't know if every single one of my methods is necessarily the best way to do something, and I just like, yeah, I don't need someone telling me, you noob, this is done better in this way for every single thing that I do. Just like, sometimes good enough is good enough.
Yeah. Usually people are quite forgiving. Usually, but at least when you're doing programming, there is gonna be some people like, why didn't you do this like this? What a noob.
No, it's like
And sometimes he has a point set, but most
oh
of the time,
yeah, and sometimes they can be valid points, and sometimes you can even like learn some tricks from other people, which I'm always open to. It's like you get a point in life when you realize that you can either like make a fuss about not knowing something and pretending that your method is better just because your ego dictates it, or you can just pick up a trick
yeah,
from someone else and become better, you know. And once you get to that point, then you're really onto something. But sometimes it's just like a matter of not having the strength always to just be in learning mode. Sometimes it's just,
yeah,
like I said, sometimes good enough is good enough. It works.
exactly.
I think it should be this way. No, this is definitely not the best way to do this, but like I said,
What a noob.
should probably check comments now. If no one's commenting on this, then we don't have anyone. Yeah, no one's commenting on this.
Yeah, as can be expected for first stream.
Yes, everything is good except this one. This one's wrong.
It's kind of sad because I just tried a couple of times to like download some really high quality movies, right?
Hmm?
And we're talking like 30, 40 gigabytes here.
Yeah.
Like after that, I I can't go back. It's
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah, of
everything.
course.
It sucks. Especially when you're on a connection like this, because it takes like days to get something. Ornithon, is that like the rock people?
No, they are the bird race.
Oh, they're the bird race.
Yes, they're the bird
Obviously.
race.
Who's the rock people then?
They're kind of they have frail bodies with cybernetic enhancements, and they can fly. They have wings.
Oh yeah,
I always imagine something like the Yehat from Star Control 2 for the older gamers who might remember that sort of thing.
haven't heard about them.
Yeah.
But
If
I
you're googling
do
that, I
remember.
think I heard you typing. They're spelled with a Y.
Oh well, they're they, they just look like they're raving all day long.
Oh, Star Control 2 was a very funny game. It was
Yeah,
basically
I
Monty
think
Python in space.
you actually have recommended it to me before.
Yeah.
Somebody did.
It's it's probably me. I'm a big fan of it. It's probably one of my favorite games of all times, and it's has a really good story. It's really funny. It's well done. It's really
Mhm.
old, but they made a remake. Well, it's basically someone. It was back in the DOS era, and
Right.
someone made a version that basically works. They redrew everything, and everything looks exactly like in the original, but they basically restored it and made it work too, like on modern systems. And I think it was called like the Urquan Masters, something like that. You can grab that for
Oh,
free.
that's kind of cool.
Though I don't know what, but when they started that project, and like I have played it, the one they did, and it was basically the same thing as back in the day. They haven't changed anything. It's the same game. But I have noticed recently that there is a version of that game on Good Old Games. So I don't know what the legal situation is right now because it's selling again. You know.
Yeah, that is kind of awkward
Yeah.
in a
Because
sense.
I mean, it wasn't there when they made that project. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't really know any legal stuff, so
I have no idea. But I imagine that having a free version of the product that you're making,
it's kind of shady.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, it's
it
definitely
kind of
not
suck
something that
like get
welcome.
sued or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, they may have to have taken that down, which is a shame. They did a lot of good work on that thing.
Mm, right.
Okay, good. It's getting there. Okay, we got the engines done. We got this paneling here done.
So, what's the resolution of that texture? Is it
It's
8K or
four.
4K?
No, it's 4K.
Okay.
It just it's not really a matter of resolution. I mean, I think 4K is more than enough for a 4X spaceship. I think it's nice and crisp, and I mean, you can
Yeah.
zoom in on it nicely, and it's gonna look. This is just a 3D program preview. It's gonna look better in the game
Yep.
and on P3D. So with exported textures, but it's not that. It's just like bigger ships need more detail. It has more of everything, so it
Yeah.
takes longer time to set up.
I think we're doing a stupid high amount of detail for what we're doing, and that's kind of fun because they're really good in game.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to approach it with, oh, it's just like for a 4X. It's not like a first person or a
Yeah.
space sim, so who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna use any crazy 8K with a bunch of detail maps or anything like that, but they can still look pretty cool when you zoom in.
Oh, the star bases are 8K, or are they also 4K?
They are 4K.
They are 4K. Okay. I don't know where I got 8K from them.
I don't know.
It,
Wait,
maybe there's
to
some
my knowledge, we
hints.
don't have any 8K stuff. Not yet.
Probably not.
Not yet, but I might be tempted to do that because like right now we've done every species up to battleship, and the battleships are about a kilometer long. And I've varied these numbers a little over the species, but they all adhere to this like similar principle. So I don't know. The Tarn might have they're like brutish race that's not very smart, so they'll typically build things bigger to do the same thing. So I don't know. Their battleship might be like a kilometer and a half, while a human starship's gonna be a battleship's gonna be like I don't know 1.1 kilometers, something like that. But uh, they all kind of go like in that ballpark. They're all in that ballpark when it comes to size. The thing is, we still haven't done any of the huge stuff. Now we have the small ships, which are frigate. We have like the big ships, which are cruisers and battleship, and we have the huge stuff, which are the Titan, which think Star Wars Executor. It's like over 10 kilometer of a ship, so that's huge.
They're
We have Star Fortresses, which are basically giant cities in space. They're much bigger than any other station. They're bigger even than the Titans. And then you have Doom Stars, which is basically our version of a Death Star. And it's huge, obviously. So those I haven't actually touched yet, and for those we may actually go 8K. We
yeah,
may need to test a little to see how
yeah.
that works in a game, but it all depends on how the game's gonna work. I mean, in Master of Orion 2, you could rule like in the end game, you just spam a whole bunch of Doom Stars, and we were talking about avoiding that because it just gets ridiculous. Everyone just has like dozens of Doom Stars flying around. It's like there's nothing special about this if everyone has a bunch of them. It's not interesting anymore.
Oh,
So I'm
but
hoping that we can avoid that. What's that?
so I just went into the Galaxy generator,
Hmm.
and Adam has been changing some stuff, and it looks like 10 times better now.
Yeah, I know. He's been playing with the shaders, right?
Yeah, so when you zoom out, the galaxy really looks like a galaxy. And he also added some particles around the galaxy that represents like other galaxies.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
just like, yeah, it just feels way more dynamic than what it used to be.
That's good.
It feels really good now. Damn,
That's really good.
that's always fun. Yeah. Because the issue before was that we had like stars or like just dots inside the galaxy,
Hmm.
but like the outside was just completely empty.
Oh, right. Of course. Yeah, you can do that like a mushy blue slash white, kind of a misty
Yeah.
environment that looks like when you zoom out on our galaxy.
Yep.
I think they
But
really,
this is
I think they've done a really good job with that graphically on a game called Elite Dangerous. Like their galaxy map is really good. Like when you zoom in, it looks good. When you zoom out, it looks good. It's
yeah.
pretty well done. But you know, they also like we're limited to a list to like a same number of systems because it's ultimately it has to work as a strategy game. So you can't have 400 billion systems. It's not a
It'd be
sandbox
nice,
sim.
but yeah, it would be a bit overkill, to say the least.
No, I don't think it would work gameplay dynamics wise. It would just be too
Exactly.
huge. I mean, in order to make it work, you just have to focus on a small part of the galaxy, and then the question arises why even have a giant unused section, you know? With this, with a sim, it's different because you can always, like, yeah, you'll never reach, you will never visit every single one of the 400 billion systems, but you can, you know, take off and go really far away to systems no one's visited before, just because they have 400 billion, and no one's ever gonna
Yeah.
see them all. So that works.
Yeah. There is questioning around like we're doing a max of like 1024, I believe.
Hmm.
Like even that could be a bit overkill, but it could be fun if you're in for the long haul, as James says.
Yeah, thousand systems cool. I don't know. I always like to. I prefer long games on 4Xs. I really do. So
Yeah,
I don't know. That's just me. Maybe some people
I think it's
prefer
kind of a
shorter
sweet
affairs.
spot because when you make like a legendary galaxy with like
Mhm.
1K system, it's like there's a lot of system, but it's not like too many. You can still grasp your
Yeah.
head around them.
Well, I think it all depends on how good the end game we execute. And I know
Yeah,
we've been talking and planning a lot about, and I'm not gonna spoil it here, but I mean, we were trying to basically solve the 4X's main problem, and that is that the end game is usually just a very boring long cleanup job. It's either that or you just get cut out of the game abruptly, you know. You just like you're doing a good job
that
and you're
sucks.
enjoying yourself and you don't want it to end yet. You just like, yeah, I know I'm winning, but I want this to last for a while, and then the game just decides, no, you won, you're done. Goodbye. You know.
Let's have fun cleaning up.
Yeah, it's either that on its or it's like and this happened to me when I was playing what was it called Endless Space. You know,
Yeah,
when I was playing, oh crap, wrong layer. Sorry. When I was
oops.
playing Endless Space, this happened to me a lot. Like if I was successful, then and playing on the largest galaxy as I tend to, then I would basically end up on this like excruciatingly long cleanup job.
Oh,
That was the end game. But basically, you know you're gonna win. It's just gonna take a million more turns to just like clean off the entire galaxy of the
oh.
others. And there's nothing interesting happening. You can predict everything. So just yeah.
Yeah, I feel it.
So we're trying to avoid that. But yeah, I think if you can avoid that problem, then it makes sense to have a huge galaxy with thousands of systems. Otherwise, it's
Yeah,
better to just go smaller.
balancing is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
to say the least.
to say the least. Yeah, but
Hopefully, it will. As it seems right now, we should have sufficient time to do balancing.
I don't know. Yeah,
So I think
I think endgame wise, I think the Civ games did a really good job with that, and because you could do some pretty cool stuff, and I like the whole mega project stuff. You know, you're leaving all these major projects behind with which
yeah,
you've influenced the world, and that's kind of cool.
yeah,
And I think Galactic Civilizations did that well too. And you could like, I especially I like the concept of like the cultural victory in Galciv. I think that worked pretty well.
yeah. It's important to have a lot of like winning conditions, if you ask me, or else players are gonna get bored.
Yeah,
Like, oh yeah, military victory again. Like that just kind of grows old after a while.
yeah. Like in Galciv 3, you could well, actually, I haven't played 3. Sorry, 2, Galciv 2.
Mm.
I'm not gonna talk about 3 because I haven't played it, but you could like you could win through like cultural victory, where you just have so much influence culturally over everyone else through all of this stuff that you build that basically near the end of the game, the whole systems will just declare independence from their powers just so they can join you.
Oh,
You know, and you wouldn't even need to use military for conquest anymore because no one in the right mind would even challenge you. And when someone decided to, when some system decided to join you, that just had no, their previous owners just had no like choice but to go with it. And
right. Yeah.
in the end, you just like the game would just decide that you have so much influence over the galaxy that you won, and that's it.
Nothing more to do here.
Yeah, pretty much. Another cool one was you could ascend, just like the ancient
Oh,
Stargate.
Ascension.
Yeah,
Right. That's kind of cool. Oh, lol. So I just got a my home system in a neutron star. That seems kind of dangerous.
yeah, that shouldn't happen actually.
It shouldn't.
I don't
Just never got
think
around to getting those rules in.
how, given the process of how neutron stars are formed, I don't think you would have an Earth-like planet around orbiting one.
Nope. Highly doubt.
I'm not an
Uh,
astrophysicist, but
it yeah,
it's common sense.
it really is. And it's kind of strange because we're starting to get to the point where we have enough content that you can actually start playing the game, kind of.
Mm.
It's so strange.
This is actually good. Like I'm coughing way less than yesterday.
Eh. Uh-oh.
Hmm?
My game just froze. Oh, this is a AI problem, so I will notify you.
Yeah, we never seem to be able to. Every time I try it, that always happens.
Oh, yeah, AI problems.
Yeah, but
Yeah, in tactical now, the AI is actually stable. It's
yeah, I
amazing.
heard that, but I think I'm cursed or something because it always happens to me. Like,
Maybe you're doing all the special stuff. Nah, actually, like we had it
maybe you're
stable.
just
Like
special.
it's really strange because you can do all the debugging you want,
Mhm.
but the moment you hand off the game to somebody you don't know, they'll break it like in a few seconds.
It's the
So
same. It's the same thing as it was in like when I was back in elementary and high school. Like I'd get a new computer, which was like fancy and it worked great and it never crashed and it ran everything perfectly. And then it was super stable and I would like talk to my friends in school about how great it was. And then it
yeah,
really was great until they showed up at my place, and then I'd like proudly show off the new toy, and it would like instantly crash or blue screen or do something like it's a man. It's just like the moment someone else was there, it was just like not work anymore.
yeah, yeah.
Like, and the
It's
moment they're out through the door, just saying, "Yeah, yeah, it's great," like and laughing.
yeah.
laughing it off. The moment they were out of the picture, it started working, and it's like, oh god,
Yeah, it's just a TC, more or less. I'm sure.
just got trolled by my computer.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a blue screen. I used a screenshot of the internet.
I actually think the Explorminate guys have been like making a couple of videos now,
Hmm.
and from what I could understand from James, the AI or like the game didn't have any issues in tactical when he played, or like any major issues. So I
Okay.
guess that's something. But yeah, we've been having lots of issues there, like just random crashes.
Oh well, it's gonna happen. I mean, we are pre-alpha, so.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, most of the boring work's been done. I should put on the Greebles layer next. Which I'm gonna use a white brush for. And just adjust the size a little. And go for it. God, this ship is taking forever. So the Greebles on this race just they end up looking a bit like a circuit board.
Oh, well, maybe that should be your new profession, just making circuit boards.
No, I hope that was nice and clear.
Yeah,
Though it's not a bad one, you know. It's definitely you're not gonna run out of work.
that is very true.
I'm getting hungry. I'm gonna have to stop the stream at some point so I can actually get some sleep, get some food.
Crazy talk.
Yeah. Or you can bring me some tacos.
Yeah.
I could go for one now. You even. They opened up this new Chinese place not far from my place. They have some really
Oh,
good kung pao stuff.
that's sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like,
Chinese food is pretty good.
yeah, it can be. It's just you need to learn to differentiate between spicy and will burn your mouth off.
Yeah, that is true. It seems like all the Chinese restaurants around here have like kind of adapted to Norwegian like
Yeah, they usually do.
spice.
There's just
Yeah.
like one here that's I think it's less adapted than the others, and
Yeah. Yeah, we have a couple of them.
and that one you really have to be careful because it's kind of people warn me about it, and then when I was with them, I kind of like spicy stuff, and I ordered this one dish that was kind of like I said, I asked like, so how spicy is this? And they said like moderately, it's not that bad. Well, fine, okay, I'll take that. And I'm eating it, and I'm thinking this is okay. I mean, it's spicy, but I can digest this. This isn't too bad. This is actually good. And the problem is, the problem begins an hour after you finished eating. It just like starts burning a hole in your mouth.
Yeah,
Like the aftertaste is just, oh
that's
my
always
god,
fun.
it's made of napalm.
Yeah. Oh, man. I think we have one Indian like place around there that they don't really care. They just throw all the spices at the food.
Yeah.
I haven't like eaten there, but I've been advised against it.
Yeah. Basically, when the spices become a disinfectant, this is where I draw the line and say no, thank you.
Yeah.
Man, we're just talking about everything except what I'm doing. This is because I'm doing this on autopilot. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know how I'm doing it, and I'm just assuming everyone else gets it.
Should be
But yeah,
fine.
this is the reason this is white is because I like to see what I'm doing. So I'm adding these like piping and stuff that's gonna go over. They're just like random variables, and I'm gonna add some more detail to that, but I just want to finish the piping, and they're not gonna be white in the end. I just need the shape to be done, and then I'll set the color. But it's easier to do it this way because the color it's gonna be in doesn't differentiate a whole lot from the background, and the reason it's very visible is because of the normal map and the shine map. So in order to see what I'm actually doing, it's better to go white or red or whatever, just like something that differentiates.
Oh, it seems like fleet stuff is like bugged as
Hmm.
it's extremely bugged. Now,
What fleet
I'm trying
stuff?
to move this one fleet to a system, and it just overshoots, and then it tries to move back, and then it overshoots again, and just keeps on doing that.
Maybe to have
It's kind
a
of
drunk navigator.
yeah.
You know,
I
space is big. This is easy to miss.
yeah, I think it's a known issue. So
Remember Joker from
hopefully,
Mass Effect when he said like it was in the first one. It was like someone gives me a compliment for good navigation when they complete a mass jump. And he says like, "No, this isn't good. I just hit like a needle, a very small needle in a very large hand." He says something like that. Like that's just bloody amazing.
lol, that's it.
Joker was probably the best character in that whole game.
I've only played a little bit of Mass Effect. And, like I've always wanted to play it, but I never could like force myself to actually do it.
Hmm. Kind
I
of liked
remember
it.
I bought it for the 360, but at the same time I had just got my new computer, so I'm like, yeah,
Right.
not gonna touch that again.
First one feels most dated now, which is no surprise. It has some kind of clunky game mechanics and it has a very deeply flawed and very, but I still really like it very much. Exploration mechanic where you can like land on pretty much every planet you come across in a vehicle called a Mako and explore it.
Yeah,
And people complained about it a lot because the physics were bad and there was nothing to do, and they had a bunch of recycled content down on the planets, and that's all true. But I still think it was kind of a valiant effort.
yeah,
Kind of sorry that they, instead of just improving on existing mechanics, that they just like completely cut it out of the other two games. I
yeah,
thought it was kind of cool to have.
yeah. If something is good, don't like remove it.
Sorry?
If something is like good and fun, you shouldn't remove it from the game.
Oh yeah,
But at the same time, sometimes you just have to. If you just keep everything, it won't be a new game. So
I'd say overall they did a really good job with the series. Like many people, I wasn't a fan of the ending of the third game, but you know,
I've heard that it's crap.
yeah, it's not good.
Don't have like multiple endings as well.
They do. They differ in color mostly.
Right. Yeah.
You know that you have your conversation wheel has like color choices, so you know that red is evil and blue is good and white is
Oh yeah.
neutral. And kind of like they have three colors for the ending as well, but like all of your choices, everything you've done, they don't really amount to much because in the end you're just locked into one of these three endings, and none of them are really ideal or something that you really want to choose. So like I think people felt cheated because they invested a lot of time and effort and they were promised that their choices for
Ah,
the games are gonna matter, and then they like it doesn't matter what they did, they always end up with those three same choices,
ouch.
which you know how many endings can you do? Like you can't with so many factors available through all of the games. I think it was kind of
Yeah.
obvious that you're not gonna get much better than that, but they kind of maneuvered themselves into it because they promised more than they could deliver.
Yeah, if they hadn't done that, I guess people would have been okay with it. But
Yeah, well, it's still the ending was still pretty nonsensical, so people were angry. But
I see.
but I don't know. I think it's kind of funny because there was another game that I really liked that also had really, really bad endings and done in a similarly bad way, and that was called Deus Ex Human Revolution. I don't know if you've played that.
Oh, I have.
And yeah, in the end, you're literally in a room with three buttons, and you choose one, and that plays the ending that you want. I mean, that in itself is like lazy game mechanics
Yeah.
101. But um, yeah, but and it also plot-wise, none of them were really like good and anything that you really want to choose for the world or your character or for anyone else. They were all kind of bad, in my opinion.
Right.
But no one made a fuss about it. Really, there wasn't like with Mass Effect 3. There was a huge outcry. Like, and Deus Ex: Human Revolution was a fairly popular game, as far as I could tell. Like everyone was saying, "Oh, good game. Maybe endings are a bit crap," but that was it. Like nobody made a big deal out of it. People will say
Mm.
like in this like calm voice, like yeah, endings a bit, yeah. But with
Eh.
Mass Effect 3, it was like the worst thing ever. It's like let's begin the Crusades again.
Yay. Whoa. Okay. This fleet stuff is just starting to get too herpaderp. It just like keeps going back and forth. I don't like this.
So by the way, do we have anyone yet on the channel?
I don't know.
Can you see somewhere or?
You can see the amount of viewers. Right now it says 2. I
Okay,
know I'm one.
that's probably generated by us. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a brand new channel and all that, so it's what can be expected.
Yeah, we'll try this again at some point. Probably give a little more warning.
Yeah, and the main thing is to be consistent because if people start up and they see a new channel, it's like, oh yeah, new channel. I won't really bother because I've got other people to watch.
Yeah.
Like if you're kind of consistent, they'll start like noticing you.
Well, I'm kind of glad because I haven't really been focused on what I'm doing. We're talking about random shit, so
Yeah,
maybe like next time when we actually get viewers, I'll do better.
yeah.
Probably kill the stream in a bit. Well, actually, no. I'll just finish the ship and then we'll kill the stream. And this is why, like Scotch and Steve and guys who never responded should be in here so they can talk to us.
Yeah,
No one's gonna hear it by us anyway, but us.
we are perfect.
Yeah, maybe someone can. Maybe more of you guys could do a good job of keeping me on topic.
Crazy. What is topic?
I think it has something to do with tangents.
Uh, I always thought it was like I don't know. Yeah, probably tangents. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the most probable one. Yeah, we'll go with tangents.
Yeah, tangents are good.
It's
This is me just being allergic to work.
yeah. I know that.
No, actually, I should be
I know that.
sneezing.
Man, my father has a he when he eats chocolate,
Hmm.
like he just starts sneezing,
Well,
and it kind of sucks.
he should stop eating chocolates then, you know? Never know
Yeah,
when
but
the
he can't
stuff's
really
gonna kill you.
yeah, but he can't really stop eating chocolates.
Sure he can.
That's not.
You know why he
Yeah, it,
can? Because he's not us. If it was me, that
oh
would
yeah,
not be a choice, but that would like, not be an option. But if it's someone else, then I can totally give them my serious medical opinion that they should stop eating chocolates immediately and just give
yeah,
them all
because
to
you're
me.
a qualified internet doctor, right?
Well, I dabble. Which is
So,
exactly the sort of thing you want to hear from your neurosurgeon.
yeah, yeah, I dabble.
Yeah, like I played a lot with scalpels as a kid.
So I am a qualified, unqualified physician.
Which reminds me of that joke I'm not supposed to talk about Tobias from Arrested Development. Analyst therapist.
Oh yeah, I'm still downloading. Gonna take some time, but I prioritize the first episode, so should be fine.
You know, hang on. Do you want to actually see just that scene? It's funny on its own, so it's not really a spoiler if you see the scene.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me find that for you.
Okay, Lindsay, are you forgetting that I was a professional twice over, an analyst and a therapist?
Okay, I'm sending
the
it over.
world's first analrapist.
Yes, and you were almost arrested for those business cards.
Yes, no, it did not look good on paper.
It'll give you an idea of what the show's like, at least.
Yep.
And this
Great.
character just like makes he talks and like he doesn't really understand what he's saying. Like he makes a bunch of this like innuendo
That's
statements that like everyone is just like completely cringing about it. He doesn't understand. Later on, he has a license plate. Like he decides to make a new start in his life, so he has a license plate on his car, and he wanted to like it to say a new start, but that's too long. So he wrote like a instead of new, he spelled new, just NU, and then start. So basically, it read a new start. Like, there's like a million of jokes like that.
Yeah, that's
The show,
nice.
it's fantastic. But yeah, the world's first analrapist is fantastic.
It is an Albert. It's the thought that counts, I guess.
Yeah. And that character really grew on me. Like initially, I was kind of annoyed by him because I would be in real life by an idiot like that. But he just like
Yeah.
became my favorite character with time. It's just like that guy's just like one slow motion train wreck.
That's it. I'm looking forward to it now.
It's a really good show.
Hi.
I completely missed it back when it was on. It was like in 2000, I think it was really popular in like 2005 or something like that. Like early 2000s actually. And then they made season 4 several years after it was cancelled, so it like came back. And I think there was some talk of season 5. I'm not really sure. I need to look that up. And there was also talk of a movie or something like that. I'm still on season 4 right now, so.
Okay.
And I'm working on the wrong screen again. Nothing happening on this one. But yeah, I'm still doing these lines. Boring. I never thought I'd be doing lines on stream.
Well, that's kind of how it ended up.
Yeah, that was almost at the bias level of faux pas.
Oh.
But that business card is the most epic thing ever.
Yeah, I would not accept that if like offered it. That would not happen.
You never know when you might need the services of an analrapist.
Yeah. That is very true, but I kind of doubt I really need the services of one. So.
Well, you know, don't knock it if you haven't tried it.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah.
I'm talking about psychotherapy, obviously.
Well, obviously, yeah. We're not
I don't know what you were
so.
thinking, but you know.
Oh, yeah, sure. Sure, you don't.
Well, you know, analysis is pointless if it doesn't lead to a cure, right? So diagnosis is just the first step. To
True.
quote to quote Dr. Chandra from 2010. So basically, NLRP is a very like common sense profession because you know if analysis doesn't lead to therapy, then what's it good for?
Yeah. Oh man, I did not get enough sleep tonight.
Yeah,
Last night.
I finally actually did. I'm in good condition right now.
Lucky you.
Yeah, but I had days of not, so
Yeah. Yeah, I'm usually very strict nowadays, but when I go to bed. But yesterday, it all just kind of flunked.
no, I just had nights where I would be awoken several times during the night by episodes of coughing, and then I'd
Oh,
have
that
to get up.
sucks.
Then I'd go and like gargle warm water with that had salt in it in order to like rinse the entire throat, and then it have
Yeah.
some honey, possibly some tea or something like that, and just like do a whole bunch of these things in order to like stop the coughing attack,
Mm.
so I can go back to bed in like the least amount of time possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
And last night was the first night in several days where I actually had an uninterrupted night of sleep. I did not wake up for coughing, which is awesome.
Hey.
Because the last thing I want to do is like rinse my throat in 4 in the morning and start making tea. Actually, I already had some done. I just like warm it up.
Yeah,
Still,
yeah, yeah. Kind of preemptive.
mm. But it's also annoying because I totally forgot about. But there was this event. I dabble. I'm not just like an amateur neurosurgeon. Surgeon. I also dabble in amateur astronomy, and there's this annual event that happens once per year, where everyone in the country that deals with like that has that as a hobby, every amateur astronomer shows up for this like something called a sky party. Basically, it's once per year at this location that has really dark skies, and we all show up with our telescopes and like spend a night there. Spend actually 2 nights there.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Like rent rooms in a nearby hotel, and basically we
Huh.
have this whole thing. And this is the first one that I actually missed because I was actually already starting to feel better, but the throat was still, well, it's still not at 100%. So it just
Yeah.
spending the night at the top of a mountain in that cold air is probably not the thing that my throat needs. Of just like prolong my recovery time, and I was just like so sick of this condition. I just need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of annoying because it's the first one that I ever missed since I started it.
Ah, that sucks.
Yeah, it does. But I'm gonna try and make it up in about a month. Sooner is not an option because I need the I need the moon to not be there in order to see anything through the scope
Yeah, that
properly.
kind of ruins it. Yeah.
So yeah, in
I
about a
think.
month the moon is gonna bugger off again. So try again.
Hey. Yeah, I'm not sure where I would find like really dark skies. Like,
You can try
I don't know.
a plugin with Google Maps. It depends on if your local amateur astronomer guys did light pollution map for the Google Maps, and you can use it as a plugin for Google Earth as well.
Yeah.
Basically, load it up, and then it gives you an overlay layer, and you can see where the skies are dark in your
Right.
country, and then you can just like, oh, so here it's dark or anything. Other than that, you can try and find a night satellite photo of Norway, and
Yeah, actually, I
you can kind
just
of
found
see.
a night pollution map of
Oh,
Europe,
awesome!
actually.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
should be able to like find something
yeah,
and work out a location for that. Of course, you don't really need a telescope to start, which is a thing that most people mistakenly believe, but you don't need a telescope to start. with that, dealing with that hobby. You can there's a lot you can see with the naked eye, and you probably have like a pair of old binoculars somewhere, and it's amazing just how much extra stuff you can see just with binos. So yeah, if you're like interested before you start spending money on telescopes and expensive equipment, I would just like recommend taking some old pair of binos and going under the stars and just watch the Pleiades Nebula or the Andromeda Galaxy and stuff like that. You can see a lot. You
Yeah,
can
I've
even see
always
some
been
globular
fascinated
clusters.
about doing like imaging, like taking pictures and shit. And
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I've
that's
got a
expensive.
scope. Exactly. Like I've got a scope, but really to do like
Oh, what
deep
kind?
sky photos, you need to have a fairly dark sky, I guess. But more importantly, you need like a stable platform,
Yes, the most
a
important
motorized
piece
one.
of the most important piece of equipment for astrophotography is definitely the mount itself.
Yup.
And the heavier, the more expensive ones, the better, because yeah, you're dealing with very long exposure times.
Yeah. Oh god. As I feared. So the part of Norway where I live, I can actually send you the map. Let's see.
Yeah, do that.
So, oh shit, I sent it in Twitch. That was not meant.
I don't think there's gonna be
Uh,
any permanent damage.
Indeed. But it's that like huge red blob. That's like,
Well, you probably yeah.
yeah, I need to travel to mid Norway, like that black dot there. I think that's the closest one. Well, you have fairly dark spots just outside here, but like the yellow. I don't really know what
Yeah,
yellow
you can
is.
probably find a decent spot, and you probably want to find something elevated. You get better conditions there usually.
Yep.
Okay, so I've actually almost finished the piping on the greebles. So I'm just gonna make. Oh, actually no. Hang on, I've done something wrong here. Deleted the layer, but it's not yet time for that. I'm just gonna add like boxes to some of these ends.
When winter really starts, like coming for full, and I get like a night with no skies, I should really try to at least find the Milky Way. It's surprisingly hard.
Yeah, if you don't have dark skies, it's impossible. You know,
Indeed.
I mean, the Milky Way is impossible to miss. It's like we're in it, so you see it all the time. But it's you know, if you really want to see like the galactic arm, then you need to
Yep.
have some darker skies, and then it's like impossible to miss because it takes up half the sky.
Yeah.
There's some funny stories about that. There was some years ago. I think it was in one of the bigger American cities ran out of power, and for a few hours at night. I don't know if it was LA or New York or something like that. I think it might have been LA, and
Mhm.
people started like people saw their first dark sky because it was not cloudy, it was like really clear, and
Right.
suddenly there was no light pollution, and people actually saw what the night sky is supposed to look like for the first time in their lives, and the local observatory and police department and a bunch of other services, like they started receiving phone calls from concerned people that saw something in the sky they couldn't identify. I didn't know what it was, and then it turned out to be Milky Way. And they wouldn't. Some of
Poor
them
guy.
wouldn't even like accept the explanation, and they would start like forming these crazy theories about the government doing some shit and what is this thing? Are we under attack? And what is it? You know, it's like
No,
no, dude, it's the Milky Way. No, no
that's
way.
just plain ignorance.
Oh yeah,
That that
yeah,
that's just
but
stupid. But you do have them, people. So
it's
oh
there's
well,
this
that's kind of epic.
yeah, there's this funny documentary called The Sidewalk Astronomer, which was about John Dobson. He was a guy who invented the Dobson mount for the telescopes. And
Right.
he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like this really sympathetic, smart old guy who refused to actually patent it because to him it was like the Dobson mount is basically the common sense mount. It's just like the
Yeah.
same mount as a Canon uses. So like he said, how am I gonna patent this? Everyone uses it already. It's just like I was the first one to put a telescope on it. So he basically made amateur astronomy more accessible to people because suddenly you didn't need an expensive mount. You can make a Dobson mount at home.
Huh.
So yeah, he was like this really cool, sympathetic old guy, and he made this documentary called the Sidewalk Astronomer, where he basically it follows him, and he takes a scope out on the sidewalk on the street, and he could just get people to look at the moon and look at whatever he's pointing it at. Sometimes he observes the sun with all the proper filters, like shows it, and people are like, "Oh wow!" And he like explains it, and it's like if he can just like wow them for a second, he's happy. And it was kind of cool. He was trying
Yeah.
to
That's
like
nice.
make it closer to people, and it was there was this one funny moment where he took a solar scope
Hmm.
and he pointed at the sun and and the sun had some spots on it at the moment because they're basically
Yeah.
they're you know sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. It's a
Yep.
questionable moment. And people were like, he was going like, "Go see the sun, come see the sunspots, come see the sunspots," and people were generally reacting positively and like coming in to take a look. Except this one lady who basically she refused to look through the telescope, but said actually she attacked him about being negative. Like, why are you so negative? The sun is perfect. What spots? There are no spots. And then she like proceeded to go around the neighborhood and warn people not to go look because he's being negative. And it's just
Oh
like,
my god.
Jesus Christ.
That's amazing.
Like some people were really AFK when there was a sale on brains.
Yeah. Basically. Oh well.
Why so negative? That's so funny. I laughed my ass off.
That is perfect.
I mean, sometimes when you see behavior like that, and you realize that South Park is not a parody.
It's
People
yeah,
act like that.
and it's sad.
Ah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny too. Yeah.
Goddamn cough. Hate coughing.
Mhm.
Probably a good idea why I stopped smoking then. All them
Yeah.
years ago.
Or else this would be worse.
Yeah, well, I probably have morning coughs by now.
Yeah.
I always found that endearing, like with people I knew who would cough, especially when they would just wake up and have like an hour-long coughing session in the morning.
Ah.
And I just usually just mm, I usually just like laugh at them and say it's not really cool, but I would just like laugh and say, "Oh yeah, here, just light up another one, my dear. That's gonna solve it." Yeah. They can't really retort because they're busy coughing, which is awesome.
Yep. That's nice. Oh, I just remembered. I tried taking some pictures of the moon through my telescope.
What kind of
It
scope do you
was.
have, by the way?
It's a Newtonian one, but I can't remember the name of it.
Okay,
I think it's like 800 millimeters or something.
it's not 800 millimeters.
Probably not. Let me
800
check.
millimeters is about twice the size of the hugest ones that you can buy in the store. So you don't have
Oh,
an
I
800
I'm
millimeter.
talking about focal length.
800 focal length sounds about right. Yes, I'm
Okay,
guessing
give me a
it's
second.
probably
I'll actually
you
check.
probably have like a 150 millimeter radius or something like that. Well, diameter.
Yeah, let me check the size of the mirror.
Yeah,
Just 2
sure.
seconds. was wrong. It was 700 millimeters.
Focal length, yeah.
Yeah, the diameter was 76.
Millimeter?
Yep, apparently.
Oh, that's really small.
Yep. It works okay.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty good for it's still good for the moon and planets.
yeah, it's a starter scope. So.
Yeah, it's not for deep sky objects, but it's a good start. You can still get some pretty cool views from that.
Yeah, but of course it's not made for like taking pictures and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a fairly cheap adapter that I just bought off eBay, obviously. But the focus is all fucked up, so it kind of sucks.
Yeah, but you need for most of that stuff, you need some kind of tracking. You know.
Indeed.
Well, with planetary photography, and especially for the moon, you don't really need as serious a tracking as with anything else because you don't need long exposure times. But you know,
Yep.
I got friends that invested so much, it's crazy. They come up with this like crazy equipment up there and they set it up and they have like hours of exposure time and a lot of like post work in Photoshop after that and like stacking and all that shit, and but they come up with some impressive results. So it's kind of interesting because just like 2 decades ago, only professional observatories could come up with the photographs that amateurs produce nowadays. It's kind of cool. It's come a long way, and a lot of that we can thank Chinese for. You know, that cheap industry that nobody kind of likes because everyone thinks that it's cheap and bad. Well, Chinese actually started producing acceptable level quality cheap optics, which made everything a lot more accessible. Yeah, because now you no longer need to sell your house if you want to have a proper telescope. You can actually get a very decent telescope. There's a company called Skywatcher, which is actually Chinese, and it's technically it's not the best quality optics out there, but it's very, very good. You know, it's unless you've invested half of your life doing just that, you're not gonna notice much of a difference, if any. So you can actually their scopes are very, very good and they're affordable. And
that's cool.
And that kind of stuff made amateur astronomy more accessible to the common man. You know, by common I mean someone who doesn't like cruise around during summer with a yacht with a helipad on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make it kind of possible to get.
Yeah. Yeah, my scope cost what? Let me work this out into euros. Well, like I don't know, around €1,000, something like that.
Oh yeah, that's pretty decent.
Yeah,
it's
but
like on the
you
edge
can get much
where
cheaper
it's
than
not...
that. I mean, I had
Yeah. Obviously, it's kind of on the edge of kind of expensive and like it's affordable.
Yeah, you can actually buy a Newtonian type for much less money, and actually you can probably see more with it because Newtonians have those giant mirrors. The configuration of the flat where I live in it's not good for big Newtonian scopes.
Yeah, right.
I needed something more compact, so I went with a refractor, which is long, but it's kind of thinner, and I can just stuff it under the bed and it works. But yeah, been a space nut most of my life, so.
Yeah. Wait, don't you have like what's it called? The refractor scopes, like chromatic aberration or some shit around objects, or isn't that really an issue?
That's not an issue. It depends on what you're doing with it. Now, there are two types on the general market of refractors. There's the achromatic ones that focus most of the spectrum, but not all of it.
Right.
And you can kind of see, and you would need to use some filters in order to get the effect off on astrophotography. For visual viewing, and so far I've mostly done just visual. I haven't really done astrophotography. I kind of just like viewing for the eyepiece. Now, I prefer mostly deep sky objects, which this scope is not ideal for, but mine is big enough to actually produce some surprisingly good results, and I've seen some pretty dim distant galaxies from my eyepiece, and it was pretty cool. But so it can catch a lot of light, but when you're observing deep sky objects, you will not see chromatic aberration at all.
Oh,
with an achromat. If you buy an apochromat, that is a lot more expensive lens, but that one focuses the entire spectrum into one point, and then you don't have any chromatic aberration at all.
Yeah, right.
So if you buy that one from a reputable lens manufacturer, then you don't have chromatic aberration at all. Which for this is why it's apochromatic refractors are among the most popular scopes for astrophotography.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So
I guess it all depends on how much you really want to pay.
yes.
In the end.
Well, Newtonian scopes are generally recommended to beginners and people who just prefer visual, just looking for the eyepiece.
Yeah.
Because you can have a lot of mirror for a lot less money. Lenses are more expensive than mirrors. So a 200 millimeter refractor is going to cost you an arm and a leg. A 200 millimeter Newtonian scope is actually quite affordable. You can probably get one, a very good one, for like 500 euros in completely new.
Yeah.
No, less actually. Less. 250 to 300 euros for a new one.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, for a 200 millimeter, which is like the perfect beginner size. That's usually like on the forums of astronomy amateurs. That's like the default one that everyone recommends to beginners. Like oftentimes people come on these forums with ideas. Oh, I wanna make pictures like like Hubble, and it's like, yeah, no. First get a 200 millimeter Newtonian and just watch through it, and like because that's gonna help you to kind of realize whether this hobby is for you and how much do you want to invest and everything, because that one's not a big of an investment. Yeah, and it's gonna allow you to like figure out what you want from this hobby. Okay, I think I'm done with the Greebles layer. Jesus, that took forever.
Hey.
Alright, let's see. This is the destroyer. Texture, I turned the weathering, paneling, and all that stuff off so I can pick colors off it, so they're consistent across all classes. Okay. I'm gonna just name this layer Greebles. I'm doing that on the other screen, so just imagine you're seeing it. It doesn't really matter, I'm just typing.
Imagine type.
Okay. Yeah. It's crucial.
Yep.
Okay, so now we've got the Greebles on. Jesus, it's 8. I'm still not done with this thing. Why am I still not done with this thing? This is taking forever. But yeah, most of the boring detail is done. That's good.
Yeah. Were those lines Saturday? Yeah, those made a. Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, still got some things to go, but yeah. Everything I do now, from now on, should make it just like pop more and more. It's just gonna be better and better now. But
yeah. How long do you use on each ship again? It's like.
Well, typically it shouldn't be more than 3 days per ship.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes it takes longer.
Yeah.
I think this is day 4 on this one.
Ah, yeah. It seems to be fairly close to completion. So.
Yeah, it is close to completion now. Basically, what's missing, I'm gonna put some detail here, basically just some indents. I need to put some missile launchers here and some gun holes here. Also make some gun holes glow here. That's not that much work. And also some engine glows here. And that's not that much. I also, okay, so this is gonna be the hangar bay. I need to do something here in the interior. And that I need to make something up for them because the smaller ship classes don't have a big hangar bay yet. This is the first ship class for the Ornithons that has it. So I need to figure out something that I'm gonna do here. Probably just like put some paneling in and some light sources and light it up. This one should look like industrial, so very hard lines and everything like that, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem to do. By the way, my favorite hangar bay was from the Salak battleship. That one really turned out well. I'm just gonna show it off quickly. So
Yeah, the
this,
Select have really interesting design.
yeah, this is our aquatic species. They're awesome. I really like the idea of an aquatic species. Just gonna wait until this loads up. Yeah, I also need to do something here. Well, this is gonna be, it's gonna have like a landing gear.
Oh joy. I just realized I think I'm on my way into a cold.
Oh
Hey.
shit. Yeah, I'm just finding my way out one, so I feel for you because if it's the same strand that's popular this year with all the kids, you're in for quite a ride. It's gonna last for about 10 days, and about 6 of those days are gonna be hell.
Yeah, I've kind of been waiting on it too because I haven't really had the cold in like a long ass time, and it's been starting to go like start raining and shit outside, so it's been bound to happen.
How long is long, by the way? Are we talking years, months, or?
I actually can't remember the last time I had a proper cold,
Okay, so years.
so probably like more than half a year, maybe more than that.
Oh, okay.
And I used to have a lot of like colds before, but then it kind of just stopped.
Gotta hate them. Well, it kind of depends. The frequency of my colds reduced when I stopped going to uni because I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished my education. And I stopped using public transportation. Basically, I'm in the center of the city, so if I can't walk, I'll take the car if I'm going somewhere further. But if I'm not in a tram or a bus, then there's no sniveling kids like coughing and sneezing at me, and then I don't get sick as much.
That's nice.
Well, if you think about it, like a bus or tram, it's like a small confined space full of people, and there's
You're bound to
nowhere
get
for
sick.
you. Yeah, there's nowhere for you to hide from all the germs. Okay, so this is the hangar bay on the battleship. So
Waiting for that stream. Kind of loading it up on my end too, but those textures are big.
now you can see it on for yourself on B3D, basically. I don't think we have anyone else here.
Oh yeah, I just got it. Yeah, that's an interesting design.
Yeah, it's more
It's not
organic,
like,
but the Ornithon are different.
and also those lines under the nose of the ship, that kind of reminds me of a whale.
Yeah, that was the intention.
Yeah.
Basically, docking is like being swallowed by a space whale with this thing.
That's epic. We don't like to admit it, but we had a huge ass whaling industry in Norway.
Oh yeah. Well, whether you admit it or not, the rest of the world knows about it.
It was huge.
It still is, as far as I know.
Well, not as big. Now Japan takes all
Yeah, they just
the dishonor.
they don't give a crap, do they?
Yeah. We do have a huge fishing industry, that I know. We
Oh,
at
yeah,
one
yeah.
point, like 50% of all. Man, what type of fish was it? I can't even remember the.
Probably cod.
Yeah, probably cod or trout or some shit.
I don't think it's even
Yeah,
possible to buy codfish that's not Norwegian.
yeah. Like at one point, 50% or more of all cod in China was Norwegian.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah,
not surprised.
we take huge pride in our fish, basically. I really don't think about it, but like we have a huge fish export. Whenever I think about like the way Norway makes money, I just think about the oil, and that's about it.
So basically, you guys are like from that game Dishonored, where everything runs on whale oil.
Probably.
I don't know if you played it.
I haven't played it, but I've watched a lot of it, like gameplay. So
It's a good game. It's not bad.
yeah, I've heard it's pretty good. It's just like on my huge to-do list
Yeah.
that I never get
Yeah, you
around
probably
to.
never played.
Yeah. Whenever I get around to it, it's gonna be so old that I won't even bother.
Okay, so that should do it. Just need to adjust this layer here a bit. Like that.
I think the Salak battleship is one of the cooler ships I've kind of seen.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah,
like,
Selak are probably one of my favorites.
yeah,
It's a really cool species.
I can just
I just
imagine
love
it.
the idea of an aquatic species. They're just amazing.
Yeah, the dolphin people.
I think the Tarn would call them sushi since they eat other people.
Probably. Makes sense.
With other races, it's a chance of diplomacy. With the Tarn, it's a chance of sushi.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the mood for some Selak, boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's some good eating.
They just fly to the first Salak colony they see.
Yeah,
And that's that.
going fishing. Gone fishing.
Yeah.
Just leave a giant gone fishing sign in their home system.
Yeah.
That's how you know they're invading the Selak.
Yep. Just wait until they, yeah, basically. And that's when you do your strike. Win the game.
Yeah. The lizard species in Master Orion 2 was called a Sakra. And I could never get myself to play them, but they looked so cartoony. They didn't look
Really?
scary, they looked funny. It was like all these other species and then one from Muppet Show. I never responded well to it.
Oh, well, that's some worries.
Nothing like the sound of sirens in the background.
Too good. Makes me feel right at home.
Yeah. Okay, I need to... How did I handle this on the destroyer? I can't even remember. Oh, yeah. So I need to check the map and... Where is that shit? Oh, there you are. yeah, I think the Sakura may be the only race in Master Ryan 2 that I've never actually played.
There's always one you never touch. Sakura, you said?
Yeah, I think I've even played the insect ones. I just think that the Sakura are the only ones I haven't played. I played the space crystals, the silicoids,
Yeah.
and that was kind of interesting because you're not creative, so you don't get old techs, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't negotiate or exchange tech with others because you also have that repulsive trait.
Oh god.
So basically, I did a lot of espionage, and it was a very different gameplay to everything else. And it was kind of cool. And you don't want to like exterminate everyone too early because you want some of like you don't want. Sometimes you might help a race survive something because you want them alive, so you can steal tech from them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Kind of, certainly.
It's different.
Yeah. That you could say. It's always nice to have something that messes up the gameplay, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. Because I tend to like always do the same thing in these playthroughs because I'm used to a certain like play style and I do what works for me. But yeah, it was like last time I played Master Ryan 2, I just like, chose the silicoids in order to force myself to try and do something different this time, and I was surprised at just how much fun I had. It was a great experience. I really liked it. And I would usually like if I'm not playing a creative race, then at least I want someone that I can that can exchange tech with others.
Yeah. Kind of need to save
But
yourself.
yeah, this time I needed to, and that kind of made me think that this could be made even stronger in Lord of Rigel because we'll have more elaborate espionage mechanics.
Yeah, so they say.
So yeah, which I'm curious about because like I've been focusing on my bit, so I don't really know what that entails. But if done right, that could actually bring a lot to the table, like in the way you can play the game. That could be pretty cool.
Yeah, espionage is usually something that's done like half-ass.
Yeah,
Well,
it's just like kind of there, and it's very bare bones. And
yeah.
it's not very interesting usually. And this was like the first time we actually needed to use it, and even with the like bare bone mechanics that Mewtwo has, it was kind of enjoyable. I just wish you had more control over what was going on, and like maybe I could tell my agents to focus on these kind of technologies, you know? And maybe like the first goal should just be like to obtain a list of what they even have.
Yeah.
You know, and then we'll try to see about stealing what we need. I don't know, I think some of the tech choices are weird. It's like, I don't know. You can choose whether or not you want to have, I don't know, a missile base or some other tech, you know, and it just like, do I really need to steal the missile-based technology from others? I mean, obviously I'm gonna use my own missiles that I already have, so it's basically just thinking of the concept of having a base that has missiles on the ground. I mean, do we really need espionage masters for that?
Well, game says so.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do
but
you have a choice?
I'm just hoping that we handle that better than Mewtwo did.
Yeah, I haven't really read up when it comes to like research and shit. I've just been the last few weeks been focusing on borders.
Oh right.
Which have been a endlessly like long project, which I kind of need to abandon for a couple of weeks.
So borders, will they like display like a political map on the galaxy view?
It's just like basic borders about 2 control SWAT. And like diving into this, I didn't really think there was many things I really needed to care about. But there's a lot of math and shit involved.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I got all of those things that seem simple,
Yeah.
but then when you get into it, it turns out that it's really, really convoluted.
Yeah, and the main problem is performance because we're talking like a 8K texture, which has to be updated every time the border changes.
Oh, okay.
So we need to do like partial texture updates, but you can't really do partial texture applying in Unity. So
Yeah, I was about to ask that. I don't think that was doable.
yeah, so I'm gonna need to like have one main texture, which I have to find some genius way of doing partial updates on. Um, oh, I think I just found a way of doing this. But yeah, basically I need to have that main
Okay,
texture.
not so
Yeah.
complicated then.
Well, it's kind of complicated. That kind of
Well,
sucks
it's,
because we need to have like subplanes which I need to apply to even individually.
it's still amazing what happens when you actually start talking about the game and not
It's
random
amazing.
shit.
Yeah, I think I just found a way of. Hmm, now we're kind of talking like how much memory is this going to use?
Hmm.
Ah, gonna be interesting, I'm sure. But yeah, once you start talking about shit, it yeah, out of the blue, you just get the solution.
Yeah,
But yeah, like if we update the whole texture, it takes like 3 to 4 seconds on a high grade gaming PC, and that's not really what we want.
anyway, I think like texturing things live is probably sounds more interesting than it actually is to most people. There's a lot of just like kind of like boring stuff that you need to get through.
Yeah,
It's not that fascinating. I mean, things start popping up when you're like nearly done, but before you do that, you need to like do a lot of just like kind of boring setting up stuff.
yeah, that's why you have interesting conversation in the
Yeah.
background.
So when I finish this, I'm gonna start putting in the small detail called point defense batteries, and they're kind of simple to do, so that shouldn't take long. And then I'll probably just do the wing markings. Well, the wing and hull markings. And after that, I'm gonna start putting in the glows. Once the glows are done, I think the only thing that's left after that is to weather it up a little bit. And when it's weathered up, that's when we can generate the shine and normal maps and glow maps and be done with the ship. We'll upload all of that to B3D and see what the final result looks like, but gonna have like an established workflow for that, so there's a lot less guesswork involved than when I had in the start when it comes to like settings
Mm, yeah.
of like what strength to do the normal map in and what like how to set up your shine map and all that stuff. It's kind of like I already know what it's gonna look like because we've done a whole bunch of other ships. Okay.
P3D sounds like an amazing tool for previewing.
It's quite good.
Yeah, and it makes it easy to
It has
like.
some bugs that are annoying as hell, but it's actually not that bad. Oh yeah, I haven't done the missile holes and weapon holes. I'm gonna do that next.
It's from like a client. Like it's easy to show stuff to clients because you can just upload it there,
Hmm.
and they can get a interactive 3D model.
Yeah. Okay, what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to merge a model of a nuclear missile that we have.
Oh my!
So I can actually do because I kind of I make sure that the scale when I'm working on this, I always make sure that the scale is right. So these windows are like of a sane scale, and the whole ship is really done in one ratio, like 1 versus 1. It's not. The scale is correct, so I always, when I do missile launchers, I always make sure that they are done in the correct scale, so our missiles actually fit inside those tubes. Kind of simple on the texture, so it's not gonna take too long. Let's see. First of all, I need to figure out where this is on the texture. Oh, and I'm doing it on the wrong one. I need it here. Good.
Nope.
Okay.
Learn to 3D model.
Hmm?
Learn to 3D model.
You're making me cough.
Good.
Good. Bastard.
Damn
Right.
bastard.
Yeah. I'm gonna use the color white again in order to do this. And I'm just gonna do a little square and see what that size is on our texture. Just gonna save that, and let's see what that looks like in 3D. Yeah, so this is too big. So we need a smaller square. And this is perfect. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna smooth out this selection a little bit. This. Oh, wrong. Like this. And I need more of these now, because this is gonna have a whole lot of launchers. Since it's a cruiser, it's a big ship. So it's gonna have a lot of missile launchers. Okay, so in order to break this up a little bit, I'm thinking of cutting them in half here. So we're gonna have, what, 5 by 4 here and here. So
Why
that's,
those launchers are small in the texture?
yeah, they are. And we got 40 on each side, so that's 80 launchers, forward ones. I think that's,
Should be enough.
yeah. If you want to sterilize a planet, you probably need
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So that works. I'm just gonna merge these layers and I'm gonna make them black. Oh. Like that, and that's gonna go here. But I need a selection. And then I'm gonna go layer up, and I'm gonna do the covers like this, and we're pretty much done here with when it comes to launchers. So they have like this small caps on. I mean, these are just like a few pixels across, so I'm not really going into too much detail because it just gets smudged across. It's better to just have them like this. You kind of, when the normal map's on, you kind of get what they are. It works good. Over here, for now I'm just gonna do some black holes, and later on it's gonna get glows and it's gonna look like guns. So over here we're gonna have some additional guns additional to the ones that are on the main head and here in the back.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Just random conversation, I guess. Have you ever used Spotify?
I have not.
The music player. Okay, so yeah, it's one of the biggest music streaming services. It
I know.
seems.
I just haven't used it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, they introduced something called Discover Weekly,
Hmm.
where they basically try to make a playlist every Monday that's like tailored for you, right? And I don't know why, but this week they've just thrown loads of like classical music in there.
So what's wrong with
Like
that?
there is nothing wrong with that, but I never listened to it at all.
Oh, try. It's yeah. Give
Well,
it a
yeah,
chance.
I've listened to some, but like not enough for them to throw in there, which is kind of strange.
Yeah, sometimes it's weird what those like preference filters come up with.
Yeah, and like the the previous weeks, I've just gotten loads of like movie and TV show music, which is what I usually listen to.
Well, as long as you're not getting recommended like Village People stuff, you should be fine.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, sweet. Hawaii
Ma-
5-0.
macho man.
Oh, God. The, the worst thing is, some of them are actually kind of good. Ish.
They
Yes,
certainly
yes.
stick in your mind. If you like hear it that day, it's gonna be in your brain.
Yeah,
There's just no
yeah.
avoiding that. No matter what you think about the music itself, it's just like it's gonna stick with you for the rest of the day if you heard it.
It's just too groovy, I guess. Can't really go out of
Just don't start calling it fabulous, so you're fine.
it. Nope. Nope.
Though I don't think anyone's ever called it fabulous. It's not
It's
exactly the
so fun.
subtlest music ever.
You can say that.
Alright, so that's done. Oh crap, we haven't done the hangar. Alright. You see, that's the thing with these big ships, there's always something that you forgot about and you need to put in there. God, just takes forever.
Oh man, there's like loads of gas giants everywhere.
In the galaxy, oh, that's probably realistic, there's a lot of them in the real galaxy.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, of course, some of that view is biased by the fact that they're the ones that we can detect most easily, so most of the exoplanets that we detected are gas giants because they're biggest.
Yeah, they're big, big as planets or giants. Oh god, I just realized I'm listening. Yeah, I've been listening to Village People for the last 5 minutes. It's like once you realize it's too late.
Is that some kind of a very right-oriented warning for the young people?
Yeah, could be.
Just say
Like they
no.
care. Just say no to village people. Just because of those 5 minutes, my Discover Weekly next week is gonna be flooded with village people.
Probably.
I can guarantee it.
And some other bands that you probably never heard of, but share
Yeah.
some commonalities, let's put it that way.
Yeah, probably the way it will go. Ooh, sweet. 1812 Overture. That's a good one. Tchaikovsky. Russians have lots of good music.
Yes, they do.
I especially love like their marches. They're just so epic.
They've given a lot to the world when it comes to science and art. Just
Yeah.
it's just a crying shame that the Russian people are gonna be recovering from the whole Soviet Union thing for so long. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of sad.
But they've always been in the extremes a little bit, but yeah. I mean, just like, yeah, but in terms of just science, they've done so much. Like,
Yeah.
helicopter, Russians. Like, in terms of rocketry, you got the multi-stage rocket that was basically
Yeah,
Russia
they
came up
have
with that.
one of the most. Aren't they like raising like engine efficiency or some shit?
Yeah, and that was kind of a crazy story because it was about rocket engines. A lot of the fuel is actually used as coolant as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of a necessary byproduct of the whole reaction, and basically the part that is used as coolant is ejected while unburned for the engine, and that's a lot of wasted fuel. And like the Americans always try to make it work, not just them, everyone who dabbled in rocketry, to like return that fuel that was once it was used for coolant
Right.
back in for the reaction, and it was always just like too complicated that it never worked right.
Mhm.
And then the Russians actually made it work, but the Soviet Union was just about to collapse. So actually, the people who came up with that and built the prototype engines, um, they were ordered to destroy them, but they didn't. They hid them in some kind of a warehouse and completely forgot about them after years passed.
Forgot.
Yeah, it's like years passed and they like forgot about them, and many years later somebody found them, and it's like this abandoned warehouse where this like full of most advanced rocket engines in the world that was designed by a guy that's now like elementary school math teacher.
Oh. Yep. That's the sad, sad truth of the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, that happened like quite a few years ago, but I think they actually ended up in NASA's hands.
Yeah, probably.
Which is good because it means that it's gonna get used. If it's not already. I mean, they're probably using the concept on the new SLS.
Yeah. The SLS is going to be amazing.
Oh, let's hope
It-
so.
Yeah, exactly.
With like with
If it
rockets,
does
and
what-
before you launch your first one, you cannot be sure. could be really good or it could be very expensive fireworks. Oh, I'm losing you there. You're breaking up. Yeah, it's really choppy.
Like my hands. Oh, that's not fun.
Oh, you're back.
It's my end.
Yeah. Could you hear me? Well, it was
Yeah,
going
I can
on.
hear you. That's fine.
Yeah, good. Because you went away for a second there.
Oh, that's always fun.
I was left with hordes of fans all alone.
Oh, no.
It's always the problem with groupies, you have to fight them off with a stick.
Yeah, I know, right? Never fun.
Never fun.
Always sucks.
Always. Okay. And I just want one here, somewhere in the center. Yeah, upload that here. And like this. Oh, actually, no, I need more of them. Not too many, but a bit more. Because I need to put them here. Oh, good. So, I'm gonna put one here. And another one here, and here. And another one here. These are gonna be frames for light sources on the hull. I'm gonna have some of it lit a little. So I'm gonna contract this by 2 pixels and oh yeah, working on a rug screen again. So I'm going to do this now. And there we go. That's gonna be our little spotlights. They're also gonna be in the hangar, so I have an excuse to put some lights in there.
And those are pre-rendered, right?
Oh yeah, I just painted them on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I used some layer effects to do that. So this is what's gonna. So we got some lights here as well. Okay. All right. So that's the hangar and all that stuff. And what we need now is the point defense. Oh yeah. See, there's always something. I'm gonna do some. I need to put some indents here and here.
That is fabulous.
And then there's something else that I forgot. And then there's something else that I forgot. There's always something.
Yeah.
Yep. We should never have any big ships. Every ship should be small.
Just fighters, all of them.
Just fight. Yes. Yes. We don't even have space carriers, just like fighter garrisons on the ground.
Yeah. Everyone just lives in their own little bubble, since the fighters can't do FTL.
Yeah, well, we
like
can make it
once-
so they can.
Yeah, that is true. Man, I think it's like when it's past 8 o'clock, I just can't speak proper English anymore. My mouth just.
You're like
can't
Cinderella. Gonna turn into a pumpkin.
Yes, basically.
I'm eyeballing this because I'm so pro.
You're too pro for this project. You should just go make millions other places.
Oh, that's the plan, but
Yeah.
the plan is basically for Lord of Rigel to make millions.
Yeah, that would be a nice plan, yeah.
So everyone buy it. Don't mess up my plans. Don't be mean.
Just buy it.
Yeah. So you're still on the Cobra in Elite Dangerous.
Yes, I am. Kind of want to get past it, but I just never get that far.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah, it's fairly fun, and I haven't really done any major upgrades. I just bought some new parts for it, I guess. Swapped out some stuff.
I think the ceiling for that one is around 10 million. I don't think there's much more you can do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't really dropped that much money on it. And it's kind of like when you have the amount of RAM I have at the moment, you can make something called the RAM drive, which is basically like a temporary quote-unquote hard drive. You have in RAM.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's stupid fast. So I found this little program on Steam called the DIM drive, which is basically like you can load. You can select a few Steam games and it will load it into memory. And like the loading times are just so stupidly low. It's like Kerbal Space Program is notorious for like long loading times. In the RAM drive, it took like 5 seconds to boot up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It's just stupidly fast. Like I just tried it in Metal Gear Solid now. Like the transition screens, like you don't even see them.
Awesome. Yeah, because you don't need, like, for normal operation of stuff, you don't need, like, a whole lot of RAM, so you can use most of yours for that stuff.
Yeah, once I load Metal Gear, like the whole Metal Gear Solid game, into memory, I still have 10 gigs left. So.
Yeah, that's more than enough.
Yep. But of course, games like GTA, I won't have a chance of fitting in because it's like 62 gigabytes.
GTA 5 is 62 gigabytes.
It is.
Oh my god, how long is it gonna take that I'm gonna take to download it if I ever buy that game?
It takes a long time.
Oh, Jesus. Time. Like you buy it on a Christmas sale and then you play it next Christmas.
You're probably like, you got 10 megabits, right? Let's just assume you get somewhere around 1 megabyte per second, which is what I'm guessing you.
Yeah, that's about the ballpark. I think I get like 1.1 when downloading.
Yeah.
That's the ballpark. Yeah.
So if you take like 1 megabyte just as the baseline, you'll get about 3.5 gigs every hour.
Yeah.
So you'll use about 20 hours to download it.
Jesus.
At full speed. But of course, the program I downloaded, you can also just load a select few files. So like if you know like, oh yeah, these textures is what takes long to load, right? You can just load up those. Because I like it, but of course you need to have the memory for it. But yeah, man, GTA is probably the game I have that takes the longest to load. It just takes so long.
What the hell takes so much space?
Who knows?
Like, not all of my source files that I've done for LO are so far that heavy altogether. And we're talking about source files. They're always big. Much bigger than the end product.
probably like just a crap ton of textures. That's really the only
Yeah,
thing.
probably because that game looks really good. Like when it, like the
It's
environment
really
and everything.
good, but like
It's a looker.
crap, can't they just reuse textures?
No, no. I,
Apparently not.
that bit I understand.
Yeah, totally.
There's no substitute for any texturing, really. There isn't, but yeah, it just still. How much? How many gigabytes did you say? Like 60?
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 60 gigs. Yeah,
Jesus.
most
That's
of those
just
are textures.
that's crazy.
It is.
But
Yeah.
you know, there's always a game that seems to be crazy high. Like I remember a game called back when I was in high school. It was called Blade Runner.
Mhm.
So that was like what 95 that I played it, and back then, like some games started to come out on CD-ROMs, and most of the time they wouldn't even take up the entire CD-ROM. They're just like it was the medium that was, you know, that came after the floppy disk, which was too small for games at that
Right.
time.
Yeah.
So like, and Blade Runner came and it came on 4 CD-ROMs, and it was
Oh,
just like crazy. Everyone was like, Jesus, like why do you need 4 CD-ROMs for a game? But you know, for that time, that game looked amazing, and it was really a good game.
yeah.
It's like a point-and-click adventure set in the Blade
Yeah.
Runner
Exactly.
universe. And I don't know
Yeah.
if you played that, but it was awesome.
No, I haven't played it, but I think I've heard about it.
It was amazing. Another one of my favorites when it comes to all these goldies. Okay,
That's nice.
time to put in the point defense stuff. So they look like this. Obviously, they're gonna look sharper. This is just a preview in a 3D program, but they look like this.
Just how it is now.
Yeah, they're really simple. So I'm gonna put those on, and I'm just gonna. There's one.
Blade Runner. That's a set of movies too, right?
Yeah, the company that made the game was called Westwood.
Right. Okay.
Copy layer style, and copy that, and okay, let's see. Ah, there you are. That game was just amazing. It really felt like you were inside the Blade Runner universe. They really got the atmosphere nailed down, and the graphics were amazing for the time. And I think they may look a little low res, but it still look pretty good today.
Yeah, that's
Mostly because it was 2D background, so you know,
yeah.
2D art ages a lot slower than 3D does.
Yeah, that is true. Because 3D, like new processors and shit, like
Yeah, you can
you
handle
can
a lot
just
more polygons
yeah, and it
and higher
increases
res
like stupid
textures, and
fast.
yes,
But in 2D resolutions, they don't really increase that much.
they do
And
increase, but yeah,
yeah, but it's yeah, as you say, it doesn't age as much. Like you can
yeah,
get away with low res even today.
yeah, pretty much.
So the best thing they possibly have in Metal Gear Solid
Hmm.
is like a cardboard box. You can like just summon, so to speak, and just hide in.
Oh, awesome!
You can,
That reminds me of the companion cube from Portal for some reason.
yeah, it's like I don't know. You can just take a cardboard box and hide anywhere.
Did you play Portal, by the way?
I have. I played through the first one and I got halfway done with its second one, and
Yeah,
then I got burnt out.
I played both to their completion. I like them both. I think
Oh, yeah.
I generally liked the first one a little bit better, though the second one had some like expanded mechanics and everything. But there were
Right, yeah.
there were times in the second one where it felt like a little too long. It's just like Portals should always be a short but sweet affair.
Yeah, that's kind of what I felt with the second one. It was just too long for my personal taste. But
Yeah,
hence the reason I never finished it.
just like her.
Thank you. Yeah, I take pride in my slacking. Oh, come on.
What?
No, never mind. Nah, I just had some problems on getting into my directory.
Ah, okay.
It's like the RAM drive, it's not like stable at all times.
Not entirely stable. Glad you're here to tell us these things.
Yes.
Chewie, take the professor in the back and plug him into the hyperdrive.
Yes, Messiah. Man, it kind of sucks over in the coding camp sometimes. Because, like, when you make some code, usually you write it for yourself, even though you never really should. So it's like, it's near to impossible at times to, like, get your head into somebody else's code unless you have sufficient time. But it's like, let's say we have a bug in something Boo did. It's also expected from us to just like be able to run over to his code and fix it in an instant.
Dude, it's not cool to mess with someone else's code. Get your own code.
Yeah. What I found is like 9 out of 10 times I try to touch something that's not mine, I just introduce 10 times more bugs than what I would have done otherwise.
Oh man, there's so much innuendo going here, it's not even funny. It's kind of funny how you're not realizing.
What?
God damn it.
Are you dying?
Oh, possibly. I think we all are.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Okay, I'm gonna make this
Oh,
temporarily red, this bases, so I can see where they
just
are.
make it red.
Better dead than red.
If you believe.
Yeah, so now I can see exactly where the point defense are.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can see the red dots on it. So, yeah, I think it's got pretty good coverage. It's covered from the back. Oh yeah, I wanted to put one here on the nose.
Should be all good.
Yeah, should put two. Because it's a big ship. So, that's there. There we go. That ought to do it. Good, good.
Ah, yeah.
And now I put the stops on, and
Those red dots, it kind of looks like the ship got the measles or something.
I know, but it's just a temporary layer effect, so I can see what I'm doing. I will be
Oh, yeah.
removing that.
Crazy.
We'll be curing
just
the
keep-
ship pretty soon.
I imagine your ships being able to like get sick.
Well, it depends. If you're using like organic technology, I imagine there could be like some
Yeah.
constructed virus, especially for disabling those ships. They dealt with
Like
that in
the
Battlestar
Wraith.
Galactica briefly. If you watch the new one,
Oh yeah. They
they infected
I
the base
remember.
stars. Like they
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 did.
found that base star that was really like sick and
Yep.
falling apart.
And then just man, the way they ended Galactica, I'm not happy. It just came on all too quick for me because like in 3 episodes the ship went from a good state like completely destroyed.
Well, no, not really. What I had that thought too briefly, but then I rewatched the show slowly. Like I bought all the discs because I'm a huge fan of that show. So I bought all
Oh,
the discs and I slowly rewatched it and like episode after episode and yeah, no, it's actually introduced slowly over time, but the damage accumulates over the show, and they've
yeah.
done a pretty good job with that. Like way better than some other shows, like Voyager,
Oh,
stuff like
okay.
that, where like the ship is in perfect factory condition after every episode. I know
I
that people are
guess
gonna say, but they replicate parts. But yeah, if that's true, if they can just like replicate anything. First of all, Voyager had
yeah,
power problems. All of the throughout the show,
yeah.
they always like were like low on power and had to conserve everything.
Mhm.
But yet they seem to like replicate half the ship every episode because it's always in pristine condition. Well, almost always. And like secondly, that's yeah. I mean, there's a reason why they have like those space yards and dry docks in Star Trek, where ships dock to get repaired. Like there are obviously some things that can't just be done in the field.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Just like
Voyager was just like it went through a lot of shit. It took a lot of fire, and it just like it was in great condition every episode. Like new
yeah,
episode, it's just like a reset button. It's like the last one didn't happen. But they did a much better job in Galactica with that. It's like I mean, it was already like it was in a kind of okay condition, but mm, about to get decommissioned when the show started.
yeah.
And then it went for a few battles, and it was still in okay condition. But you know, and then
I guess what came on like just really rubbed for me was that like in one episode they could jump okay, and the next one is like, if we jump one more time, the ship is fucked.
well, that's yeah, that happened suddenly, and that made sense to me because like the ship was actually taking damage fairly okay, and then at one point they there was that whole thing with New Caprica, if you remember that, when
Yeah,
Adama takes the Galactica to rescue the people, and the Galactica
yeah, and
almost
goes
didn't
through that
make it
as
back.
well.
I mean, if the Pegasus didn't make that suicide run, the Galactica would have been destroyed there. So
Mhm.
first, he takes her through the atmosphere in that amazing maneuver, which I love. But that couldn't
Yeah.
have been good for the ship. I mean, the ship was burning
Mhm.
while it was through inside the atmosphere, and then it jumped out. That probably
It's not
wasn't good.
designed to be in there at
Yeah, I
all.
mean, obviously the FTL jump does some stress on the hull. There's a finite
Yep.
amount of jumps that you can do, like
Mhm.
in order to before the hull becomes unusable, and that number is obviously very high. But like this jump was done inside an atmosphere while the ship was falling and undergoing all these other stresses, so that
Yeah.
taxed it. And then it jumped back, and you can see that the ship was damaged just from that. And then it starts taking damage from three base stars that are basically um, both doing analysis and therapy on it at the same time.
Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense then. And
So
yeah,
yeah, the ship just
I
like the ship was just never the same after that. It was like
I guess it's more like if you're not really paying attention to it and just kind of casually going with the show,
yeah, and then
you don't really pay attention to it.
yeah, but you know the ship then goes through a few other battles, and it comes to a point where they start seeing some stress marks, and it's not like they can jump, but they're seeing that when and that was done actually well when you have metal fatigue and all that stuff, and you
Yeah.
will get to a point where you will rapidly stop be able to use that. Like you notice a problem and you see that you only have like a few more usages out of this
Mhm.
before it becomes unusable. And that's kind of what happened with Galactica, and it was already in bad shape. And they saw that they would have to abandon it, and then they take it for that last mission inside, to attack the Silent Colony thing. And
Yeah.
then they crash it into the colony, and they can't retract the pods, and they just jump with the pods outside, which does additional stress to the ship and
Mhm.
basically breaks its spine, as they put
Yeah.
it. You know,
Yep.
and at that point, basically the hull has just taken far too much, and it can't go on anymore. But it was
It's
done
done.
well. It made sense to me.
Yeah, I guess so.
Still fun. Still one of my favorite shows. Huge fan.
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, I hear you on the ending, but you know, maybe because I was such a big fan, I always had like my own ideas on what the ending should be. And I don't know if you saw that, but right before the show ended, they showed some like concepts that didn't quite make it into the show, but they were like considering using them. And one of them was for something called a Viper Mark 13.
Mark 13.
Yeah, and it looked organic. You can look it up. It looked organic. Something's going on here. Oh, yeah, there we go. It looked organic, and it looked like a combination of Cylon and colonial technology.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, like, basically, theories started to formulate on how the show ends. Like, maybe they end up living on a planet together, or maybe they come to the 13th tribe where Cylons and humans live together in peace, and they showed up with these super advanced Vipers. You know, obviously there was something like that on the grapevine. They didn't go with anything like that in the end,
Mm,
but
that would have been cool.
yeah. And I always imagined the show ending like they find that 13 colony, and the Galactica ends up being an orbital museum, like
Yeah,
it was supposed to become in the first episode, and that would have been like
exactly.
a
Yeah,
nice circle for the ship. You know, it ends up
yeah,
being this like orbital museum that's like completely fucked up and can't jump anymore, and it's a museum for the generations. Instead, they just fly it into the sun. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. It's just that I had this really set idea in my mind of what I want, and that's really not fair towards the show's creators because they can't really adhere
yeah.
to your, become they can't become like telepathic and become know exactly what you expect and then
That would be
adhere
kind
to
of
those.
impossible. Yeah,
Yeah, it would be cool if they could
it would, but that's not waste of words.
though.
Sadly.
Unfortunately, not. But yeah, it's just yeah, I don't know. There were things I felt worked well, but I don't know. It's just I always had a problem with. I mean these colonial civilians. They weren't exactly the easiest to please bunch. You know, they were always
Yeah,
protesting something. They were always protesting something, and like when they wanted to upgrade their FTL drives with silent technology, they threw on a revolt, and they had like a huge mutiny and almost killed the Dama for it because like no, we don't want silent tech, even though it's gonna save our lives, that kind of shit.
we don't want this amazing technology.
Yeah, but when they tell them, you know what, we're gonna fly the entire fleet into the sun, and we're gonna go live on the surface of this planet with nothing but the clothes around our backs. So we'll go back to the Stone Age, and you can all die in 5 years out of pneumonia.
That's fine.
Then there's no revolt. Everyone goes along with it instantly. Nobody questions it. They just go
Doesn't make
down.
sense.
No, no. It's like the Chewbacca defense. It makes no sense.
Basically, yeah.
That just annoyed the hell out of me. I was WTFing really hard on that part.
Yeah, and you have the right to.
I mean, there are parts of the ending that kind of I thought were nice and worked kind of okay, but frankly, for me, the first two seasons were the best.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I agree.
First two seasons were just brilliant for me, but and I think probably the best bit of Battlestar Galactica that was made was the miniseries. Like the
I
first two
never saw
pilot
that.
episodes. The first two pilot episodes that take an hour and a half each.
Oh wow.
That's the best of that BSG. That's basically what spawned the entire series, and
Ah,
it deals with the fall of the colonies while the Galactica is still in service of the
oh,
colonies.
that's cool.
It's not on the run, but the attack just happens, and it
Right. Yeah.
is that miniseries is what got me into it, and it's some of the best sci-fi on TV that I've ever seen. If you
Yeah, I've
haven't
been
seen
wanting to
that,
download it, but I
yeah,
never got to
watch that.
like
That's
everything else.
that's just fantastic.
Oh
If
yeah.
you like the
Yeah.
show, you're gonna love this. And I always said, like, with people who were curious about the show but they never saw it, and I would always tell them, watch the miniseries. If you're
Yep.
not completely in love with it by like half of the first half of the miniseries, just stop watching and forget about Battlestar Galactica because it's not your cup of tea. If you're not in love, like after the first 45 minutes of the miniseries, you're not gonna be in love because that's like the best bit. The rest is pretty good, but yeah, the mini is just amazing. So watch that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, or no, actually, I don't have it. I thought I might. Yeah.
And like they really had that feeling. I don't know if you've ever, yeah, I probably haven't experienced it. Um, there's that feeling, like especially like in the beginnings of a war, if
Hmm.
like especially if your country's involved in it, like in the first few moments, there's always that there's that strange feeling of you get a lot of misinformation. You get a lot of people who don't really know what's going on, but there's a lot of like speculation of what's going on.
Yep.
But there's no like you can't really get proper info anywhere, and that like that whole like feeling of not knowing what's going on but knowing it's something bad. It's difficult to describe, but I've that show came closest that I've ever seen to actually having that feeling done correctly on screen.
Ah,
It's
that's
just
epic.
as the colonies fall. I mean that they've done
Oh yeah.
that like because they show that from the perspective of people getting reports, and I think that's a lot more effective than actually just like showing a nuke to your face. You know,
Yep.
you get a, like a confused people like getting reports about their loved ones being nuked somewhere, and it's like,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of conflicting reports. Nobody understands what's going on, and it's like a lot of panic, a lot of
Yeah. Like
misinformation, a
what's.
lot of bad radio traffic,
Yeah.
and it was just amazingly done.
Oh yeah. That's epic.
Plus, another thing that I'm gonna say about BSG is that when it comes to sci-fi captains, I think Adama's definitely my personal favorite. Hang on.
Yeah. His. Sure.
I'm gonna be back in a minute.
Sure.
Ah, sorry about that. I'm back.
Yeah. No problem.
I don't know if you picked up any more people.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Still just us, huh?
Yeah.
Oh well.
But yeah. Adama is. Yeah. I really like him. He's. He's good.
Yeah, he's the like. There's no question about who the hell is in charge here.
Exactly.
He was the old man.
The old man.
Yeah. Plus, the Adama maneuver is the most epic thing ever.
Yeah. There's no question about that.
Just throw your ship down the atmosphere and jump in the last possible second
Exactly.
while launching Vipers. It's amazing. Okay, I'm doing the hull markings now.
Ooh.
The brown ones. I've put the green ones on the texture. I'm doing the brown ones now. So I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna have a smaller triangle so they don't hit the escape pods above it. There we go. And that's that. Okay. So okay, that works. Need to name the layer and colorize it. So I can easily find it later. And also what I'm gonna do here is, right now it kind of looks like, I want it to look like paint, not like it's a panel over these panels. So that means it needs to be cut by these lines. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna need to copy these layers of the panels below it, just temporarily, so I can do the selection like I just did.
Mm.
And I'm also going to expand this a little by 2 pixels. And hit the clear key, and here we go. It gets separated. So now it looks like it's painted on, actually. Do you know what? I think I would prefer it if it was like this here on the head, a little more substantial. But yeah, Battlestar, such an amazing show.
Battlestar. Oh, Battlestar.
Battlestar Galactica, yeah.
Oh yeah. I thought we were just talking about, just Battlestar. Like, what have I missed?
No. But yeah, I spent years of my life on that volunteer project, that Diaspora, so I must have liked it.
Obviously.
That was based on it. So.
Yeah, Diaspora got a lot of positive reviews, it seems.
Yeah,
Only thing people
Diaspora's...
didn't really like was the length, I guess.
Yeah, I was about to say that, like, people... And I agree with that, but it took us years to just do that at the quality level that we wanted. So, like, we could do something that was half-assed, that was much longer, but then nobody would play it. So it wouldn't matter if it was longer.
I think I found it and played through it like a couple of weeks before I found Rhombus.
So you did play it? That's cool.
Yeah, I did. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah. And in terms of art, it just took forever to get the assets in the game at the quality level that we wanted, because you couldn't get many people that could devote as much time as needed to it.
Yeah. And the short, campaign you did have, that was like a AAA level.
That was what?
If you ask me.
It
was like a AAA level. It was really good.
Oh yeah, thanks. Well, I didn't do mission design, but I'm sure the Adam and other people involved would appreciate it.
Indeed.
Something off here. I think this thing needs to be narrower. The brown one on the back. Make it narrower, it should be better. It's right now. Plus, there were other interesting characters there. I really like the Admiral Kane character as well. If you've seen those episodes where the Pegasus shows up.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome.
It was. Pegasus that was a nice little addition.
Oh yeah. Well, it was a nod to the original series, which also had the Pegasus show up.
Oh, okay. I never saw the original.
Yeah, the original is very, by today's standards, it's incredibly campy.
Oh.
It was done in the 70s, and basically, and I know there are like Battlestar Galactica fans out there of the original show, but I honestly think that they're letting their nostalgia do their thinking for them, because they go like some people go like religiously crazy over how much they hate the new show and how much the old one was better, but you know it really wasn't. The old one was poor man's Star Wars, incredibly campy.
Oh god.
I think they even got sued by George Lucas at some point for ripping some stuff off.
Lol. That's amazing.
But the new one, like they took the basic concept of the story and did it completely, did its own thing, and they've done an amazing job. It's probably one of the best sci-fi shows ever on TV.
Yeah.
All right, that is, apart from the glows and the weathering, that's pretty much it. I've done the hull markings, and I've done the I need to do the gun glows, and I need to do the engine glows, and after that I need to weather her up, and we're done.
Hey, amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna be going for 4 hours now, almost. Coming up at 4
wow,
hours.
That much already?
Well, that's how long the Skype call's been going on, which is a bit longer than the stream, but not much longer.
Yeah, not much. Like only a few minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes perhaps.
So yeah, we're coming up in 4 hours here.
That's amazing.
If you need to go or anything, we can, like, it's not like there are people watching us, so we can
No, it's for the recording. Has to be amazing.
Oh, there's not gonna be
I
a
don't really have anything to do yet. Starting to get kind of hungry, so I will go.
Yeah, you probably
soon.
don't want to go public with that statement.
What statement?
That you don't have anything to do.
Oh, yeah.
That's not something that you ever readily admit.
That is true.
Yeah.
I don't really think before I speak either. So
You'll
it
learn.
was bound to happen.
Okay, let's see. That's the first one for the guns. Let's adjust it a little bit. Yeah, better. Okay, so now we need the second layer for the guns. And oh yeah, you guys can see what I'm doing.
It's amazing. It's called the internet.
No, I mean can't see because I was doing it on the wrong screen again.
Oh, I thought you said you can see.
Oh,
I will.
actually, I shouldn't do this right yet. I need to. Okay, let's. I need to shape this up a little bit. So, how's it done on Destroyer again? Pull up the Destroyer's texture and check it out. Yeah, something like that. Okay. I need to contract this selection, and I'm gonna guess that 16 pixels is gonna be good. Yeah, it is.
Ooh, fancy.
So it's not gonna be green, I'm just making a selection here. Okay, that's good. So
I'm guessing like once the texturing process has started, you can't really do any changes to the model without having to do a lot of new texture work.
yeah, because you typically have to adjust the UV maps after that, and when you adjust the UV maps, they no longer correspond to the texture that you've already done, so you have to fix that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bit of a mess. Why do you ask?
And I'm just wondering, like, if you have a ship and it's all done, and then suddenly James and Adam changes their minds.
Yeah, then you do it again.
Ooh.
Well, it only happened once, where they were like okay with the ship and then decided to redo it. But you know, in the end result was worth it. So it wasn't that
Oh, okay.
you know, Truth be told, I was bothered by similar things as they were on it, so
Yeah, I guess it's fine then.
yeah. It wasn't so much. I didn't see it as like. I didn't see it as a punishment, and more like a chance to
It's
fix things that were annoying me anyway. Because you get a bit
okay.
OCD with stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what chip was that. It wasn't this species though.
No.
Not good.
Oh, I think it's time for me to start going, like, getting some food.
Okay. I'm gonna stop the
Starting
stream
to,
then.
like, stuff. Yeah, I guess you can stop. We've been going for a long time, so.
Yeah, we have. Okay, so we got a gun glows here.
Unless you want to finish this up.
I will finish it anyway. I mean, I'm not gonna stop now. I'm gonna finish it now.
Crazy.
Not so much. It's close, and I wanna be doing other stuff tomorrow. So I don't think it's crazy to go finish it now.
Nice.
I need to finish this because tomorrow I really want to be doing the battleship. I don't want to fall too much behind because then it's gonna get harder to make up the time this month.
Yeah, you do have that cute little schedule of yours.
Yeah, it's very long, so it's kind of a that's a problem. You know, it's very easy to fall behind.
Yeah. Oh,
But-
well, I guess I'll be heading off. Oh,
Yeah, I was about to
here comes
say,
it.
don't let me keep you if you need to go. I'll
Yeah,
just stop
I'll,
the stream
see
and
you later,
finish
man.
this. Yeah, see you later, and thanks
Yeah,
for the
sure.
help.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yeah,